Well, here I am once again doing my semi-annual shop move. At least it seems semi-annual. We've been in the Dream Shop now for almost 4 years, and you know, priorities change, things change, and if you want to read more about why we're actually moving to Colorado, go to the website. I've got a blog post on there that you could read if you're interested in those details. But I thought it would be cool to sort of journal the experience of moving in a very informal format, you know, not highly polished or anything, just unvarnished, showing you, pun intended, showing you exactly what I'm doing here. We are getting professional movers to come in. They will help with some of the packing, but ultimately I don't trust other people to pack my tools when we're talking about the small hand tools and things like that. So all those get wrapped up and I take responsibility for those myself. But I've got a lot of small stuff that just needs to be in boxes, and then we'll have those guys come in and move those heavy boxes along with the tools. So we'll just go around the shop a little bit and show you what I did so far. Well, this side of the shop certainly looks different. So all the tools have already been taken down. I've wrapped them up in some cloth scraps and then shrink wrapped around them and basically tossed them into these sort of bags. I've got a lot of these bags from tool purchases over the years, and it's great. Once the tools are wrapped up, you can put them in there and they kind of touch each other a little bit, but they're fairly well protected. And then I can carry this around, and this is going with me in my truck, not in the moving trucks. So I can make sure that these are taken care of. Speaking of the shrink wrap, there are a couple things if you're moving you're going to want a lot of. That's the sort of these rolls of thin shrink wrap, as well as tape. And we have gone through so much tape, not just regular clear packing tape, but blue tape, because I use the blue tape to protect a lot of my sharp edges here. So my chisels, saw blades like this, they all get that level of extra protection, which is really cool. But yeah, this whole side is packed up. Cabinets are empty, and I actually got my buddy Scott coming over to help take some of the wood off my hands. So I mentioned my buddy Scott. Here he is. He has a YouTube channel as well, which is the Sonoran Wood Shop. Not workshop, because I get confused all the time. And I'm basically giving him a bunch of wood for a very small amount of money. The reality with wood like this, and I found from previous moves, is it's one of the most inefficient and difficult things to move because the boards are all various size. It takes up a lot of space and weight. So I'd rather give it to someone who I know is going to do something good with it. I'll get a couple $100 back as, you know, sort of payment for my investment over time. I'll pick a few choice boards, some figured stuff that I absolutely don't want to part with, but I plan on rebuilding my collection when I get there. So we've got a lot of moving to do because we've got a lot of cutoffs, a lot of big boards. Hopefully Scott can take most of it because I don't want to move it. But yeah, it's a little sad. This is probably one of the things I'm the most sad about at this point. But hey, Scott's a good guy and he'll make good use of it. And go check out his channel. And one of the trickiest things I find to pack are these long Festool tracks. And any brand track like this, it's a precision instrument, really. It's got to be dead straight. So we want to make sure these don't get damaged. Now, the way they usually ship them is 2 pieces of plywood and a sandwich, and then they have a like 1x furring strip between them to protect it. Well, I'm not going to go through that much effort, but I will stack them face to face so that they, you know, stay nice and sandwiched, nice and flat. And I've got 4 of them in total here. Piece of 1/4-inch plywood underneath, another piece of 1/4-inch ply on top, and then shrink wrap to the rescue. So it's still a pain in the butt to move around, but much better than leaving them out loose. Now you might remember on this wall I had all of my clamps, my big parallel clamps, my rack with the pipes going across for the smaller clamps, and those things can be really tricky to pack. So I found that garbage cans are kind of the best option. If you have empty garbage cans, you could throw them with the clamp head down, and then yeah, it's a little bit unruly, but generally speaking, it's not going to go anywhere. Now you won't be able to put them all in here because it gets pretty darn heavy, but you can get quite a few. So I've got 4 garbage cans in the shop, and that should be enough to get most of my clamps taken care of. It also helps if you put the garbage can on a furniture dolly or something mobile, and this way you can kind of roll it around as needed. Now next up, I need to take down all of this ductwork, and thankfully I've got NordFab, and when I installed this a couple of years ago, I mentioned how there are really two times you're going to thank yourself for spending the extra money on something like this. That's when you're installing it and when you're taking it down. And of course, if you're expanding it or changing it, it makes it very easy because it's just these strap clamps that we undo. I've got some strapping that's connecting everything to the ceiling joist, so I'll have to get all that down, but it really shouldn't be too bad, so let's see how it goes. Well, all in all, not too bad. It was about 15 minutes total time, and now I've got all the pieces here that I need to break down a little bit further to make them easier to transport. I'll probably take the elbows and the fittings and various small parts, try to get those in the boxes, just one less thing to worry about, and leave myself with as much of the straight piping as possible. So, not too bad. Oh, okay, don't mind me. It's been a long day. I need a rest. But one of the things I need to do next is take up all of these floor tiles. And I actually covered a good percentage of the floor with these because I used to have foot problems and lower back problems from being on my feet too long on concrete. These, although they're still really firm, they're not like those really squishy ones, they actually provide just enough give in combination with a good pair of sneakers or supportive shoes that they work great. Now the problem is when you have to pick them all back up for a move, that's a little bit of an issue because they are extremely heavy. So I don't know how the movers are gonna move them, but right now I'm just pulling them up one by one and putting them in a stack, and hopefully they'll have a good solution. I really think I should have gotten a pallet or something, put them on the pallet and let them pick them up with a pallet jack, but time's a wasted and I didn't have time to worry about that. So we'll see what they wind up doing with it. In the meantime, I still have work to do. Haha. Check this out, I moved this cabinet and I've got an old Matt's Basement Workshop sticker before stickers were cool. Well, I've done just about everything that I can do. It's taken me about 4 days to get to this point where anything that could be boxed is boxed. Anything that could be prepped in any way, like the power tools, blades removed, things like that, that's all done. And I've kind of pushed things off to the side. And you can see it's a big open space at this point, and all we need to do is wait for the movers to come. So first thing tomorrow, 8 in the morning, the movers will be here. And for the most part, I get to sit back and watch it all happen. I'll be a little bit nervous with some of these bigger tools, but these guys should know what they're doing, so wish me luck.
Alright, take me. This one ain't so bad, but this one is terrible.
Yep. Well, here it is, pretty much an empty shop. I just have to get the air cleaner down and we are done. And it is the sort of passing of an era. The Dream Shop was a really cool experiment, if you will. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I could take you guys on that journey with me. But the one piece of feedback that I get that I can't say I agree with is that this is a sad moment. For me, a shop is just another tool. It's like getting a different workbench or buying a new brand of a drill. I don't really find it depressing or that big of a deal to go from this to something that's a little bit smaller. There might be more challenges, we might have to do things a little bit differently, but I'm excited by the opportunity to try new things. And I see people doing cool stuff in really small shops all the time. And in this space, I had the luxury of just being able to kind of spread out and do what I want to do. But sometimes the creative solutions to those challenges of space, I find those very inspiring and very cool. So I'll be going through YouTube and looking at all these different shop tour videos to come up with new ideas on how I can make my next shop work better for me. It's going to be a 4-car garage attached to my house in a totally different climate than I'm used to. So there's going to be a lot of fun things coming. So this is not a sad thing. This is just the next thing. And I'm super excited about it. So hopefully you can be excited for me too. And I guess I'll see you in the new shop in Colorado.